if you had proper management as a kid, I would imagine you'd have a lot more money saved.
Right.
Your affairs would have been handled differently. Planning would have been involved.
I would not have done Teen Wolf 2.
Did your dad tell you to do Teen Wolf 2?
Dad was very encouraging. Dad is a producer on that film. I'm not saying he had ulterior motives, Howard.
Your career was going so well. Your trajectory could have been leading man, A-list fucking movie scripts.
I will say, though, in his defense, that he was the biggest advocate for the high quality and the very, very tasteful. And
then why Teen Wolf 2?
Well, because the strategy was, well, let's go do a, quote, studio movie, get some box office relevance, and then diversify that into something tasteful.
Did Teen Wolf 2 kill your acting career?
Well, that's probably. I mean, if you were to look back, it probably didn't help. But
it's such a fucked up business. It's like, you were probably fine in Teen Wolf 2. It's just not the greatest script.
Well, there's so many things that made that shit. But, you know... probably be included.
Here you're this kid, you're on top of the world, you're in all these shows, and suddenly I guess you're going out on auditions.
Right. Not
People
getting,
are like, that's the kid from Hogan's Family.
That's an old ride.
Right.
Yeah.
So you start going out, and now all of a sudden you're auditioning, and it's not like you're moving from one project to the next, right?
Well, yeah, and I had bought the attitude I clearly needed to have been renting. So I went out there and was very humbled, and it was.
Were you
was
in a panic?
Time. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're like, what's my future?
Well, what's my self-esteem? What's my ego? You know, you go into these auditions and you want to kind of posture like I'm the guy, and they're sort of make you wait in the lobby for 20 minutes, and
with a guy who's never acted.
Yeah, there's a big adjustment for someone who was. Naive about the ups and the downs of the business. But truly, if Arrested Development had not come along...
Who was the genius responsible for putting you in Arrested Development?
An agent that I had actually just stopped working with called me a couple of months after that and said, hey, there's this, I know you're with that other agency now, but I haven't seen your name on the list for this show that they're auditioning for, and it sounds like it'd be great for you. Her name's Lee Brillstein, and she said you should go in and definitely get seen for this.
Is Lee now your agent? I mean, I would think so.
No, Howard.
Wow, you're so ungrateful. I mean, really, you're a horrible person. Well, no, seriously, why is Lee not? Lee saw in you, because I understand how Hollywood views people. That kid, he was a kid actor. Fuck him, he's old news. Teen Wolf, he drinks, blah, 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 blah. Screw him. Someone takes a chance and says, hey, let's put him in. Maybe it's time to bring him back.
Mitch Hurwitz, the runner of that show, the boss.
Did you have to audition?
Yeah. Yeah.
And were you like, I'm not going to get this?
Yes, I did not think I was going to get it because on the cover of the script, it warned all the actors that were coming into audition, this is not a show with frills. You will not have makeup. There's no lighting. There's no marks on the floor. The dressing rooms are going to be tiny. It's shot like sort of like Cops, right? Like a mockumentary. So if you want to be pampered, do not audition for the show. So it seemed like not only was it a no frills thing, but it was. Not to bore you, but television was moving from like multi-camera, like sitcom stuff, into single camera, which was kind of cooler and hipper.
Right.
And I had all that multi-camera baggage. I was, cheesy.
Right.
So I thought, well, they're not going to want my baggage on their cool show. So I was lucky to even get in to begin with.
Well, you must have given some hell of an audition, right?
I guessed right that day as far as what they wanted to see from the character.
And so Arrested Development becomes sort of the darling of Hollywood. A lot of people in Hollywood love that
Critically
show.
acclaimed.
Critically acclaimed. And that turns everything around.
Right, because no one else in the country was watching it, but the people in L.A. were.
Why did you stop drinking and having a good time? Was it because you met your wife and she said, fuck you, you better get your shit together, I'm leaving you?
I was already dialing it down a bit and wanting to sort of, I had caught up and I wanted to now be an adult and all that crap. So
were you at the point that you ever considered getting out of Hollywood?
Oh yeah, I fantasized about liquidating what little I did have. Literally put the cash in a duffel bag, go down to the Bradley terminal at LAX, look up on the ticker board, pick a city anywhere in the world, and just unplug from here and go plug it and just start over.
What do you think you would have done? What was the fantasy?
It's a dumbass soft fantasy, but I was like going to go to some countryside coffee shop in Italy or France, learn the language, and serve
become a waiter.
Coffee. Yeah,
really,
and just be one of those guys and become 450 pounds.
Sounds great.
Well, at least I wouldn't be exposed to, Entertainment Tonight every night, me not being on it or looking at the trades and just
That's painful, right? When you see other people that
it's
were
an industry town.
When you see other people that were sort of your peers all of a sudden succeeding and you're having a tough time, that's got to be the worst pressure in the goddamn world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about New York City is that there's so many different trades here and so many different areas to sort of have influence and affluence. And if you're not on the top of the mountain in the entertainment industry out in Los Angeles, it's tough to be socially relevant.
During that period of time, were there movies you went out on? I mean, I'm talking about successful movies that we would know where you got rejected that you knew you would have revived your career.
Yeah, there have been some that I almost said no to that I'm glad I did not say no to.
Like what?
Recently.
Like what?
Did you almost say no to Juno?
Yeah.
You
Oh
did?
no!
Why did you? Why? Because it was.
When I read that script, I was in a weird mood, and it said no, and we had just had a child, and I said no, and then they went to another actor, and they got about 2 weeks away from actually shooting, and that actor sent a text message to Jason Reitman simply saying, "I'm out."
Wow.
Jennifer Garner actually said, "Go back to Jason and see if he'll reconsider."
Because you had realized that this could be a good project.
Well, no, I hadn't yet,
Yeah.
but she wanted me to play the part, and we had done The Kingdom together, and we had a really good time on that. And so I reread the script, and what sealed the deal for me is that I'm not proud of this, but my daughter was colicky. And she's screaming her fucking ass off. It was driving me bananas.
You
and
need to get out.
I called my manager. I said, "Where does it shoot?" He said, "Vancouver." I said, "How long?" He said, 3 weeks. I said, "I'll do it."